Yo, Adam's Hacks, I'm with Guy in a Cube, and in this video, I'm going to walk you through how you can use deployment pipelines to have a dev test production full life cycle inside of Power BI. Stay tuned. If you're finding us for the first time, be sure to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all the videos from both Patrick and myself. Deployment pipelines. We're going to go through all the ins and outs of this. There are some things to be aware of, and stick around till the end where I'm going to call out some of the limitations as well as some tricks for you to really optimize usage of deployment pipelines. All right, enough of all this talking. Let's head over to my machine and actually see what this looks like. All right, so I've just got a regular app workspace here. One thing you will notice is there is a diamond there. This has to be a premium workspace. That's one of the first call outs here. Is the workspaces that you use for deployment pipeline have to be in this capacity type mode. So it can't just be outside of premium. So be aware of that. It may be something that stops you right now, and that's okay, but I wanted to call this out. This is a Power BI premium feature. Outside of that, I've just got, a dashboard, report, and data set. And then I've also got a secondary data set as well. Another thing you will notice is over on the left-hand side, you will now see deployment pipelines. So if you have things that line up with this, so you've got a workspace with dedicated capacity and you've got a pro license on your end, you will see this new deployment pipelines area underneath shared with me. When we go and select deployment pipelines, we'll get some basic instructions here. This is actually I really like the UI for this. I think it's very clean. I think it's easy to use. And let's go ahead and create a new pipeline. So we need to give it a name. Description is optional. Got our cube pipeline and we will hit create. All right. So now we've got three stages of this pipeline. We've got development, we've got test, we've got production. The way this will work is we'll see from a workspace perspective, I've got my dev workspace, ignore the embed test. I've got my dev workspace. I don't have a test and production workspace set up. You can only assign one workspace to this pipeline. And then as you go through the next stages, it will automatically create those workspaces for you. All right, so let's go ahead and assign my workspace. And select my Contoso dev workspace. There are a couple different ways that you can come at this. So we could start with development. We could start with production. You could start with test. So there are different things that you can consider in terms of doing this. Also, if you don't plan on having all three, maybe you just want like a dev and production or what you would call test and production. You could just have test and production and ignore dev altogether. So if you're just going to go with two, I would say start with either test or production. If you're going to have all three, I would say start with either development or production. In this case, my workspace is, I'm going to consider this my development workspace. So I'm going to start with development, but you can start with production and go backwards if that's what you want. I'm going to go ahead and hit assign, and then bam, we get some initial looks at, data set, how many data sets I have, reports. I can refresh those. I can publish an app. I can show more, which ends up allowing me to individually select items that I could then deploy to the next stage. So this is just a good heads up of what's going on. Now, what I want to do now is I've got my development set up. Now I want to actually move this into test. And so when we hit deploy to test, it's going to create that workspace and copy the contents of the dev workspace to the test workspace. We've got it all set up. Now, one thing you'll notice is it shows data sets, reports, and dashboards. Doesn't show data flows. It doesn't show other like Excel docs or anything like that. So this is really only going to copy those data sets, reports, and dashboards over, not data flows, not those other items. So be aware of that. That's something that could potentially come down the line, but right now that's the current state of where it is at. All right, and now that we've got it in test, I want to do some cleanup things. One thing you'll notice is my original workspace was called Contoso Dev. Now you'll see that it's got bracket, test bracket around it, but it still says Contoso Dev. So I can change that right now. So let's go ahead and we'll go to workspace settings and I can update the name. We'll just call it test. I want to be consistent, so I will just say test and then save. And then you'll see that that gets reflected. Also, if you come over to workspaces now and take a look, you'll see that Contoso test is there. The other cool thing with deploying pipelines, this is something I really love. You'll see this little lightning bolt up on the top where it says dev or where it says test. So when I click on that, what I can do is I can actually update rules for the data set itself. So my dev data set is connecting to my dev database. And I also have a file in there as well. And that's in a dev location. When I go to test, I want to have it connect to a different server, right? So my dev server's got the most minimal amount of data just for development purposes. Test has a little bit more. And so we want to point it to those servers. So I'm going to go ahead and update my AdventureWorks data set, and we're going to change my data source. Right now it's pointed to my dev database, and we're going to move it to test. Okay. And then parameters. I also have a parameter here for my CSV file name. It's pointing to my dev folder structure. I'm going to move it to my test folder structure, and then I'm going to hit save and close. And then I'm going to do the same thing for dataset 2. All right, save and close on that. So now both of these are set up. I've got deployment rules that are configured for the test stage. So anytime I deploy from development to test, it will go ahead and update those items. And we will see here now that everything is green, everything's in sync. We are good to go. So now I can go ahead and say, let's deploy this to production now. So let's go ahead and do that. All right. We are good to go. And I'm going to do that same cleanup on the production side. Except what I'm going to do here for the workspace name is I'm just going to call it Contoso, right? Because this is my production workspace. So this is where everything's going to be set from. So I'm not going to have the moniker of production next to it. I'm only going to have that for dev and test. That's just my personal preference. You can do what you like and what works for you and your organization. Save that. And then I'm going to set up those same rules for production. This time I'm going to point it to my production database, which has everything in there. And in this case, you know, my developers, I don't want them touching the production database. And so I can set up this rule and actually have it kick over when it's deployed. All right, so we're going to my production AdventureWorks database and then my production file on disk. All right, everything's green across the board. So now what can we do here? Let's go ahead and we'll go back to our dev workspace here. We'll notice that, you know, for AdventureWorks, I've got a report, I've got a dashboard, but for dataset 2, I don't have anything here. So what we can do is I can say create report, right? So I'm just for example purposes, I'm just going to say total sales amount. There we go. We'll make it a card. And let me just go ahead and save this report. Go. And then if we go back now to our workspace, we'll see that now we've got that report there. It's a new report. We go back to deployment pipelines into my cube pipeline. We will now see that there is a difference between my dev and test stage, right? So it detected that there is something different. And if we go to compare, we will actually see a moniker here saying, hey, there is a new report. Nothing else changed, just the report. So I've got two options I can do here. One, assuming I'm ready to deploy, I can go ahead and just say deploy to test. That will deploy everything over to the test workspace. The other option I have is I could be selective on this. So I could say, look, I only care about this report. I don't want to move anything else because nothing else changed. I also have an option of saying, hey, select related, because it will end up sending over the related items as well. And then we can say deploy to test. Now, bam, I'm green between development and test, but now I have a mismatch between test and production. So the same thing, we can see the compare and we can see that the second report is new, whereas my production workspace does not have it. So I can do the same thing with the selective, or I can just say, hey, deploy to production, and it's going to deploy everything. All right, and now we are green across the three environments. And if we go back over to our production workspace, we will now see that we've got our second report and we've got other items as well. Now, what happens here, let's go back to our development workspace. One more example here. We'll go go ahead and edit our main report here. And what I want to do is I want to get rid of this page 1. So we're going to get rid of that, delete, go ahead and save it. All right, so I just updated this report. We'll go back to deployment pipelines into our cube pipeline. And again, now we see that, hey, development and test aren't in sync. Let's compare, and we'll see that the AdventureWorks report is different between the two. So again, I can just say, hey, deploy to test. And it's going to replace the report that's in test. So just be aware of that. And now we see that this difference is in production. So again, I can come in, compare, and we can see that we can deploy our change to the AdventureWorks report to production, and bam, now everything is in sync. What? That is bananas. The fact that I can do that and keep these in sync, I can just focus on the development workspace, get all my changes in there, and then we can just go down the line and put it in test, get some people, QA people maybe, go test, bang on it, make sure that everything is what it needs to be. And then when it's really ready, I can move it to production. A couple other things we can do in here. Let's go ahead and remove our selections here. Now you'll see this publish app. So for each workspace, I can have a separate published app, and we can go ahead and just say, hey, publish this bad boy. And it'll take me to the ability to publish that, assuming I have rights to do so. And then we can go ahead and publish or update apps accordingly. A couple other key things to consider. So first off, these are 3 individual workspaces with 3 separate data sets and 3 separate reports. As a result, you'll have to set up schedule refresh for those items, so on and so forth, right? So treat them as individual elements, and they are individual elements, but from the deployment pipeline, we can make sure that those elements are in sync, not necessarily from a data perspective, but from an overall what the structure is and everything else. I already called out some limitations that are available. As I said, this is only for data sets, reports, and dashboards. So this is not for data flows, the Excel items. Hopefully we'll see those things coming down the road, but right now it is for those core elements. I did mention that this is a premium feature, so you have to have premium capacity. What ends up being the case is the production workspace has to be in an actual premium capacity, so an actual P SKU. Your development and test, if you wanted to minimize costs and not necessarily have to pay for a full premium node, you could use an A SKU or the Power BI embedded on the Azure side for those specific elements. So that is allowed for development and test, but for production, it has to be an actual premium node. The other big question, and I know someone's going to ask this in the comments, is that there are no API capabilities, so you can't trigger this outside of the UI today. Hopefully we'll also see those API elements come down the line. As a result, also, if you're using Azure DevOps for your CI/CD type operations, this doesn't currently plug into Azure DevOps. So if that is something that you want, make sure you're going to ideas.powerbi.com and voting that up to let the Power BI team know that that's what you want. I think that's the natural thought process on this is great. We have deployment pipelines. I want to integrate this into my normal CI/CD type operations. Maybe you're using Azure DevOps. Maybe you're using something else. You want to plug this in so that you have that complete architecture from data to reports. That isn't available today. All right, deployment pipelines. Have you used it? What do you think? Let me know down in the comments below. I want to hear it. This was just a quick overview. I want to hear what the rest of your thoughts are on it. Let's continue the conversation down there. If you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Smash it if you so desire. If it's your first time here, hit that subscribe button. And as always, from both Patrick and myself, thank you so much for watching. Keep being awesome, and we'll see you in the next video.